So the next step is to come up to our print dialog box. We can do our document setup and some other things, but we're just going to jump to from the file and print menu just to bring up that dialog box so we can take a look at that. So in this case, we've got the HP 8000 black and white that can print 8.5 by 11 by 11 by 17. So that's just kind of a custom name for that. Some things that you've got to remember when you're doing color separations is that we don't actually print color separations on a color printer. You wouldn't want to do it on your inkjet printer, although some can if they have PostScript capabilities. So you want to be a little bit wary of that. The Adobe PDF is always a workaround that is a PostScript printer engine and does come with the software. That's not an actual printer, that's a virtual print. Sometimes it's good to print a PDF to look at it. As far as this goes, if this is grayed out, it's not going to be a compatible printer. So it will not work for color separations and you will not get the features that you need. So typically we're going to do our printing, our color separations on a laser printer. And a typical printer would be a black and white printer. Um, in the industry they would print it out on film, on an image setter, or a specially type inkjet printer that prints on film, or an actual plate maker when you talk about offset printing. So various different types of printers, but the key element is that it has a PPD or a PostScript printer description. So when you go and buy a printer, that it's compatible with the PostScripting language. That's the main thing. If this is grayed out for your inkjet printers, your $100 inkjet printers at home, you're not going to have those specialty type features. Okay? So in our print box, we have a page setup that we can go to and pick the media size. I know mine's at letter size, and we're going to actually scale this down. You'd want to be wary of this in the industry. Size and placement's critical, especially t-shirt designs. You wouldn't want to shrink down an ad and an offset print or anything like that. So you want to make sure that you don't shrink it. For our purposes, we're going to scale it down so we don't waste paper. We're going to shrink it to fit on a 8.5 by 11 size sheet of paper. So we definitely want it to fit to page for us right here. Also, when you're trying to do some quick proofing, that may be a time where you would scale it down to print it on less paper. So those are some features there. That's the critical one. You just want to check that it's letter, because we do have some capabilities to print on 11 by 17 here. So we want to switch that to letter size paper, and we want to scale it to fit. Then we're going to come over here and check the next option, which is our marks and bleeds. So in mine, I have trim marks selected. That just puts your corner trim marks, kind of gives a crop edge to it. The other thing that we're really looking for is our page information. When you do color separations, prints on film, sometimes it can even print negative. That's critical. If it's black and white, the printers are not going to be able to tell what color that is. So the page information will print out whether it's cyan, whether it's black, whether it's a spot red, such as 485 red or Pantone 107. So that information right there is very much critical. You need to have that one on. The color bars, we're not going to worry about this at this time for this particular one because this is a screen printing job, so it will not contain the spot color information we need. This is for generic CMYK color bars. So we're going to omit those. We can, trim marks are kind of optional. I like them because they fit it, give it a little bit more of a framing in the box there. So, and if this happens to be askew, all you need to do is double click it. Once again, you can click and drag, that'll move it around, but a quick double click will center that. As long as you've got your fit to page here, uh, that's the critical thing there. Sometimes you do have some center features, but a double click there will center it. And down to the output tab, this output option here, that's where the critical information for color separations is located. For this particular one, we do have the PPD options. If you don't have a correct printer, you're going to be grayed out here. You won't have any options there. So you want to be wary of that. And if you get a gray box, it's probably because you've got the wrong printer or a printer that's not compatible. And if worst comes to worst and you need to do something, you've always got your Adobe one, which comes with your software. Okay, and that will print it to a PDF, an actual file, as opposed to printing to a printer and a piece of paper. So as far as what we typically do, composite is usually full color, what we're normally used to seeing. When we print on a photograph, it's a composite color, it comes together, it looks like a photograph. For us, we want to switch it to separations. That's our separations. Once again, we're printing them on a black and white printer. Cost is an issue there. Okay. When we go to our separations, there's this nice box that says convert all spot colors to process colors. When we get to an offset press and we're printing only cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, that's the button we'll check. For this one, it's a screen printing job, so we want the spot colors and none of these other ones. Some of you guys may have black, because I've told you in the past to use black as your spot color, just 100% black up here, and that's okay. So you may see that checked. For me, I didn't have that, so that one won't be checked. But the other three, you shouldn't see anything in process cyan, process magenta, or process yellow. If you see a printer icon, that means it'll print out a blank sheet. It'll say cyan, but may not have anything in here. Okay, so that's critical. We can uncheck that, or we can check those. You would probably want to print them out to find out what's on that sheet, if nothing else. If you can't find them, that's kind of a way we can check to see what you've created as a spot color. Sometimes it could be a stroke, and if it's a blank type anchor point, it's not going to be something you see. But if you want to check, that's a quick way to check. And usually a LaserJet print is a cheaper process than a piece of film. So could be a good idea to print these sometimes if they show up. But for me, we've got that. That's what we want to see happen. Maybe black checked, but these three show up. Those are the main ones we want to see come up. Okay, so we've got that set up. Our separations are here. Overprint black, we won't have to worry about that right now. That's something we'll cover down the road. And at this point, all you need to do is just hit print, and it should process your color separations. And that's printing your color separations out.